everybody and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how to do the join as you go technique for your granny squares. Now I will show you how you join the very first 2 squares of your blanket, and I will then also show you how you deal with these corner sections later on when you've got more than one row. So grab your yarn, grab your hook, and let's jump straight on in. So the join as you go technique is done on the very final round of your granny squares. So the first square of your blanket you want to make in its entirety. So I'm going to be joining squares which are 4 rounds wide. That's the size of the square for the entire blanket. So your very first square you want to completely finish. So you've got all 4 rounds, you're ready to rock and roll. When it comes to joining your second square, you can go ahead and do the first 3 rounds of that square, and we join on the very final round. So on this one, it's this grey one. So I'm going to go ahead and join in my next colour for my final round of my second square. So I'm going to go ahead and crochet 2 sides of my final round for my square, and then I'm going to join on the 3rd round because I'm only joining to one side for this very first square of the row. So I'm just crocheting my squares as I have been for the remaining rounds. The corners are 3 double crochet, chain 3, 3 double crochet, and the sides all have a chain 1 in between. You can adapt this joining method for however you have been doing your squares. So I've just finished up crocheting 2 sides. So I started with a corner, I've done one side, one corner, and one side. Now I am prepping to join to that first square. So on this corner, just before we join, I'm going to go ahead and do half a corner. So just 3 double crochet into that corner space. I'm not going to complete the corner. So now I want to join to this corner space. So the premise behind join as you go is you are substituting out a chain for a slip stitch. So in the corners you will chain 1 and then pick up the square you want to join to and pop your hook in to that corner space, and you're going to yarn over and pull through the space and the loop on your hook. So you're slip stitching to that corner. So that counts as a chain. So you chained 1, slip stitch, and then chain 1. You've joined that very first corner space. So now you can complete your corner on the square you're working on with just your 3 double crochet to finish up that corner. Now again, because this is the joining side, you're going to substitute out any chains for slip stitches. So I've been chaining 1 in between my side clusters. So I'm not going to chain 1, I'm just going to immediately slip stitch into the side space of the square I'm joining to. So I'm just popping my hook into that space, catching the yarn at the back, bringing it through the space and bringing it through the loop on my hook. So it's securely joining it. So that slip stitch is in place of the chain 1 that I've been doing on the side. So now I can go ahead and just put my 3 double crochet straight into the square I'm working on. And again, once I've completed my 3 double crochet, I'm just going to go ahead and slip stitch into the next chain space of that square I'm joining to and continue on with my double crochets. Again, slip stitch to join. So substitute out that chain 1 and just go ahead and pop a slip stitch in instead, and then you'll be back at the corner. Or if you have larger granny squares, continue this method all the way up. Once you get to the corner, do half your corner first. So just 3 double crochet. And again, we're going to chain 1, then slip stitch to this corner space. And then chain 1, which count as my 3 chains for my corner. Then finish up your corner as normal. So you can see I have securely joined those 2 squares together. You can pull it apart, it's not going anywhere. It's completely flat, the join on the back, there's no ridge. And because we've now run out of bits to join to, finish up your square as you normally would. So I'm going to be chaining 1 and popping my 3 double crochets in. Once I'm done, I'm going to join with a slip stitch to the top of my chain 3, snip my yarn, and move on to crocheting my next square. So for join as you go, you always do the join on your very final round, and wherever you're joining, you just pop in a slip stitch instead of a chain. So on the corners, chain 1, slip stitch, chain 1, and then on the sides, it's just a straight slip stitch. So now let's move on to how you would tackle the next couple of squares with these corner sections. So to join to a next row, you have a row of slip stitched joined squares, and now you want to come along and start joining the next ones. So the premise is exactly the same, the substituting out of a chain for a slip stitch, but the way I join my squares is I join them to the diagonal. So this square here, I want to join to this square here diagonally. So just as before, I've completed half a corner. I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm going to slip stitch not into this one that it's next to, but I'm going to slip stitch to the corner space of its diagonal friend, then chain 1 and finish my corner. Then just like before, I'm going to pop a slip stitch instead of a chain 1, pop a slip stitch to the side clusters to join them. So I join to that diagonal one there, and I'm going to work my way along with the joining. Now, because this square I'm joining is right on the outside edge of my blanket, I'm going to join the outside edge a little bit differently. So I've done half my corner, and I don't have a diagonal friend to attach this one to because this is the outside edge. So wherever it's an outside edge, I will chain 1 and I will join this corner so it's not left hanging free. So I'll pop a slip stitch in that one and continue round as before. All right, so that's my first square of the second row done. I've joined this outside edge and I've joined to the diagonal. Now I'll show you quickly how to tackle this inner one here when you have a diagonal and a free hanging corner over here. All right, so to tackle the square when there is more than one edge in the middle of your blanket, I've only crocheted one side because I'm joining this side and this side. So again, just like before, I have done half a corner, chain 1, and then I'm going to join to the diagonal, which would be this square over here. So in the middle of your blanket, always join to the diagonal. So I'm just going to join to that one there. and then continue as normal. Now, once you've finished joining that final side, you reach the corner and you're going to join this corner to this one over here that is left unpicked up from before. So this silver one here we joined across. Now for this dark grey one, I'm going to join to that square there. So complete half your corner as normal. So I've done my 3 double crochet. Turn everything slightly. I'm going to chain 1. Then I am joining to this diagonal over here. So I'm going to pop a slip stitch into this space here. Then chain 1 and finish off the corner. Then continue joining as you have been. Only join these top corners here if it is the outside edge of your blanket. So for this top corner here, I'm kind of disappearing off out of shot. Because this is still within the body of my blanket, you have a couple of options. It is totally personal preference if you want to join it at this stage, but I now, working into the main body of the blanket, would leave it just hanging free to be picked up by the next diagonal. But if that messes with your brain too much, you're more than welcome to join. I tend to only join immediately to when it is the very first row that I'm joining or it's an external edge. So it is totally personal preference whether you join this corner or leave it free to be picked up by the next row. So I hope this tutorial has helped you. If at any point you have any questions, please feel free to shout in the comments section below and I will do my very best to help you. The 3 general rules of thumb are: substitute out a chain for a slip stitch when joining. Join on the diagonal in the main body of your blanket. You don't have to, that's just personal preference of mine, but I find it gives a slightly neater finish. And you only really need to join the corners together when they're adjacent if it is an external edge of your blanket. So if you've got the join as you go down and you fancy a challenge, why not try my continuous join as you go blanket, where you do the final edge all in one go. So you make all your center grannies first and then join them with one continuous strand of yarn. Sound good? Check it out. And until next time, happy crocheting. Bye.